The Last Roundup
Horror Show.
Welcome to the Last Roundup Horror Show. I'm Frank. This is Jason. That is Jared. Here we are again. We got four more films. Up first, Creepozoids from 1987, directed by David DeCoteau. Whatever. He's known for Puppet Master 3, Retro Puppet Master.
Decado? David Decado.
Is that how you say it?
Yep. And also written by Dave
It's not how you say it.
Elzenstark.
Right. Very good.
Okay.
David Decado is known for Puppet Master 3, Retro Puppet Master, Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bolorama, and a bunch of other really interesting sounding films that I think.
The Bolorama, I keep seeing that come up a lot. I've never seen it.
I watched that.
Have you?
It's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Teenage years.
It's a Linnea Quigley movie, right?
I see lots of
believe
people
so.
buy it.
That's. I don't even remember it, but
Anyway.
I know I've had that and put it in. Probably not saying much about it if I don't remember it.
This movie was shot in 12 days. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. The summary. A group of survivors try to avoid the battles of World War III. When they try to escape to the Quiet Lands, they encounter something much more deadly. This film is set in 1998. That's the year it's supposed to be. The thing that I thought was the funniest about it is that they didn't even try to project what computer science might look like in 1998. They just were like, it would probably be floppy drives and stuff, right?
Yeah, I knew I was going to be happy at the very beginning. Yes, this is my pick, and I knew exactly what I was picking. At the very beginning, when they did the old school green computer font with the clacking of an electric typewriter as it rode across the screen, clack, 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 clack. They said, yes, this is my kind of movie.
And they were switching back and forth between shots of this group walking through. Apparently, it was just L.A., and they shot that without a permit. They were just like walking around.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, wow. This is something.
Dodged a bullet on that World War, huh?
Yeah.
Because that didn't happen in 98. We're all lucky it didn't.
But another funny thing about it is the fucking cover art, the poster for this, I don't know who those people are. There's nobody in there that looks like that guy. And there's no guy wearing a fucking tank top. And the girls don't really look like the girls either. It makes you think that, just like Blood Harvest, it makes you think this is going to be better than what it is. But Linnea Quigley is in this movie as Blanca.
Leave Blood Harvest alone. Leave it alone.
I'm just saying.
There's nothing wrong with that movie.
There's lots wrong with it. Just leave it alone.
What did it ever do to you?
There are Nazis in the world, buddy.
I like that movie.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I just think that whenever like artwork makes you think something is going to be better than what it is.
Right.
But like I said, Linnea Quigley's in this as Blanca.
Yes, she's in this.
And she jumped right in front of that. And like I read in the notes that the other girl was asked to do the nude scene, and then she just kind of was like,
Well, I think she's a porn star.
Linnea Quigley?
No, the dark-haired.
Oh,
yep.
is she?
Yeah.
But she declined, and Linnea Quigley's like, look, that's what I do. I'm here. Yeah, I think
So what's this movie about?
I don't know.
Is World War III, and these are defectors from one of. They don't really get into the sides, but these are defectors, and they're hiding. They've left the army and they're hiding. They run across the warehouse, and
I kind of get what's going on with the humans.
Yeah, they run inside because it's about acid rain is a big thing, and they got to get away from the acid rain. It's so great.
Oh my!
But so they get inside this warehouse, and this warehouse was like a army testing facility where they were trying to create self-replicating nutrients that way people didn't have to eat to benefit probably the army. And what I believe you're led to believe is the thing, the Creepozoid, is what the dude who was taking these things, it's what it turned him into.
Now, did it turn him into a monster or a baby? Because at the end of this movie, there's a baby that crawls out of this thing.
The baby thing was cool. That's one of the okay things about this movie.
The first 2/3 of this movie were them like trying to figure out what exactly is going on around here. But you knew that wasn't going to wrap up because there was only like 15 minutes left. And that's when shit starts to get good. After the lasers are introduced, 40-some minutes into the movie, lasers are a thing.
Pew, pew.
They should have brought that up a little bit earlier because I think it could have helped them out in some various circumstances if they would have let us know that lasers were in this world.
They're mini Uzi guns.
Yeah. The third act is really fun. If the whole movie was like this, I would really like this movie a lot because it's crazy. The mutant rats are really dumb, but
they look awful.
How does it go from like I thought the monster looked like a guy in a rubber suit.
Yeah, no, yeah, so like foam.
But then
they look awful.
When the humans are melting or mutating, that looks
fantastic. The
the
transformation scenes or whatever is really good.
It's like decide on a fucking thing, guys. Put all the money into either the monster or that, and then you got your thing. Just do one or the other. Pick one. I thought it was the ending made up for all the stuff I didn't like, but I give it a 5 out of 10, right in the middle, because that ending, that last 15-20 minutes, is a gold mine of stuff. Start out with the lasers, guys. Start out with the baby monsters. Give me more of that. Anyways, next.
Yeah. So this movie, it doesn't look good. It's very poor quality. It just looks cheap. The dialogue sucks. The acting sucks. Has a great shower scenes. Or showers, shower scene. Like that's probably just
sexy.
That's just giving it the only points that I gave is the shower scene. Really, the monsters look bad. The transformation, like we said, looks good. And there's a really couple good scenes, like that fight scene with Lene, and then the scene at the end. Those are really good scenes. The baby thing at the end was cool, and it had decent music. But
I wrote a note about that because that guy was Gus Moon, I think is what his name was. Gus Moon. He's done a lot of great stuff. But,
there we go. See,
his highlights
I'm
for me.
I'm right on point.
He did all the music for California. All the music for California Dreams. That was just weird, and that weird cartoon All Stars to the Rescue. Remember when all like the Ninja Turtles teamed up with Alf and all this to fight against drugs? You don't remember that? All right. Well.
Anyway, I gave this a 3.
Low scores. I gave this one a 7.
It's bad.
Wow.
It's bad.
And nothing they said is wrong. This is just my kind. This is my alley of cheap. We all like our own bad movies. This is the kind of bad movie I like. It's 80s. It has a 50s sci-fi feel to it. The sound effects are bad. The acting's bad. The dialogue's bad. The story's bad in a 50s style.
Preach it, Jared. Come on.
The mutant rats are ridiculous. It's a big cheap alien looking monster.
Stupid looking.
The baby popping out of the end, but it's all done very 80s and with the very 50s sci-fi feel. And cheap 80s and cheap 50s sci-fi are two things that I love, and it mixes them together well. I did hope to like it a bit more than I did.
Because of the cover art, right? That's awesome cover.
Well, just the whole general idea of it. There is the dry spell in the beginning. It's not as much goes on. They could have had a bigger team with more people.
Or just wrote some stuff in there.
Things happening.
It's just them like walking through tunnels and
But
You hungry?
Climbing
Yeah.
over walls.
Yeah, I'm hungry. You hungry?
but everything that's bad in it works for me in such a perfect way.
The girls do run around in white T-shirts and no bras, so that could be another half point, 3.5.
Would I be wrong?
It's very pulpy.
Am I wrong in saying that Linnea Quigley has weird boobs? Am I weird? Am I wrong in that? Am I going to be ostracized by saying that?
They're unique.
Unique. There you go. Every snowflake has its charm, right?
But this is a very pulpy feeling bad movie, which is great. It's obviously not going to be for everybody. And don't listen to my 7 at all if none of that entertains you. You're not going to like it. I'd liked it to be a little less slow through the first part.
I think overall, the person you should listen to the most on this show is Jason. I think he's the most grounded.
I used to think so, but I like Blood Harvest, so I don't know anymore.
We all got our biases in bad movies. Like I paid $4 for this with shipping and handling.
Not bad though.
That's included in it, and I'd have doubled that easy. I'd have paid $8, no doubt, and still felt like I spent good money on that. So.
Up next, Mountain of the Cannibal God, a.k.a. Slave of the Cannibal God, a.k.a. Primitive Desires, a.k.a. Prisoner of the Cannibal God, a.k.a. Mountain of the Cannibals, a.k.a. La Montanga del Dio
They kept saying Mater.
Cannibale.
Keep it going. Get all the languages in there.
La Montanga. Summary. Susan Stevenson and her brother Arthur get off a plane in Papua New Guinea looking for her missing husband. They team up with Dr. Edward Foster. The three head into the jungle, get in more than a few fights amongst themselves, and wind up encountering a tribe of long-lost cannibals. Directed by Sergio Martino. Written by Cesar Frugoni.
Caesar?
Cesare.
All right.
I'll fancy it up.
We'll put some spice on that one.
He's speaking in tongues on this episode.
Montagne. Oh, eventually I'm going to be really good at foreign languages. This movie was one of the legendary 72 video nasties that were banned in the UK until 2001. Did you have any notes on this?
Oh, yeah. You got a tagline.
Did you guys watch the uncut?
Watch whatever's on Shudder.
Yeah, whatever that is. What
There's so many different names. I don't know what's cut, what's not cut, but this is
how could they
seems
have
to be the
extra
more,
shit? Because they threw in some fucking just pointless animal death.
Oh, yeah,
Well, we'll get
pretty
to
sure that's the uncut.
I got a tagline: "When the price of lust is death." Distributed by New Line Cinema. This is on Blu-ray. Shameless in 2018, and it's also on Code Red, but I don't know about Code Red. But yeah, got the list of different names for this movie went on and on and on.
Yeah. Really, nice opening credit sequence. Just really lets you know that they don't care about animal rights groups at all.
The girl was a Bond villain, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ursa. What was her name? Ursa.
Ursa was a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Was her name?
But all this animal shit is like these random ass animals. It looks like some guys like, fuck it, put the snapping turtle in with that gator. They're both.
Yeah, I don't.
They're both
I don't
assholes
understand.
anyways. Fuck them.
I don't need that in my movies.
And that monkey thing, the monkey scene was the worst because you saw that monkey like, I'm going to die now. Like you watched him slowly get strangled to death.
Just
by a
looking
snake.
around.
Yeah, like accepting his fate.
Wait, just wanting to get it over with.
Yeah. All the fucking animal encounters. There's a falcon and a snake at one point. It seemed like they just throwing shit at things. Like, throw that falcon at that snake, brother. And most of the movie's just walking. I thought it was really fucked up when they stopped. I thought the movie stopped whenever the credits stop at this really weird point and all this text comes up about how New Guinea has unexplored primitive areas. Completely redundant. We could have found that out when we were watching the movie. I did. The one thing I really liked about this though was Stacy Keach. I don't know if that's because of Sergeant Stadenko in the fucking Cheech and Chong movies, Shoot the Moon.
He's in Escape from L.A.
I like him a lot, but just take a minute to appreciate him because there's not much.
Frankie said so.
Yeah, because I said so. I like the score a lot, but it was composed by a guy that does a lot of fucking Italian grindhouse movies, so I've probably heard it before. Quentin Tarantino pulled him for Death Proof, so. And I think one of the things I thought was funny was that they give this character a flask. I always think it's weird when they give someone a flask of liquor that they're always drinking out of because he's clearly not a drunk because he would have a lot more. And why would you ever want that? It doesn't make sense.
I don't
just
know.
carry a flask around
In a pinch.
Why aren't they thirsty? They didn't even drink any water.
Would you drink the spit liquor that they drink at the
Oh
chug?
my God! No, I about threw up. I about lost it. I swear to God, I turned away from the TV.
Well,
I
they
didn't
were
want
like
to see it.
spitting in this thing and mixing it up, and they said it was a strong alcoholic drink or whatever. No, thank you. When Stacy Keach dies, it's kind of just not even a big deal to them. They don't even really care at that point. I don't know why. That's a weird choice for the movie to take. There's a scene where they're gutting this Arthur guy, and the Foley work on that is just a masterpiece. It's I want to know. I looked it up to try to find it. I wanted to see what they used, what they were doing, what they were smashing together because they're really getting into it. It sounds almost like someone eating a banana, like really loud into a microphone. Just trying to really gross you out. First time, I'll tell you what. First time I've ever seen a woman insert her finger into her vagina in a non-pornographic movie. Also, first time I've ever seen a representation of bestiality.
Yeah, I was really surprised when she started fingering herself. Until 5 seconds later, they go straight to a guy lifting up the tail of a pig, just going to town on it. Like, that's raised the bar a bit.
And then they cut a dick off right after that.
Yeah, like the first, what is it? It's an hour and 40 minutes. And the first hour and 15 of this movie, I swear to God, it's just them walking through a jungle,
arguing,
climbing on rocks. And then all of this happens in the last 25 minutes of the movie. Like, it just goes bananas. It just goes to a whole nother.
They're like, these people are actually eating live lizards. You can see these things moving around when they're biting them and shit. I've never liked and hated something at the same time. I gave it a 5 out of 10. The animal abuse was completely pointless, but it could have been fun if they made some different choices. I've never seen all these cannibal films that they made, so I don't know if there's a good one out there. This was,
this one's pretty solidly put together for the ones that I've seen.
Yeah, but
so if that gives you
I give it a 5. What did you guys think?
So I don't need all the animal junk in my movie. I've just never been big on cannibal movies. Like, I've seen Cannibal Holocaust and then now this one. Like, I haven't even seen didn't Eli Roth put out one, like Green Inferno or something?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even got around to seeing that.
I haven't watched that one.
It does have good music. It seems like it's put together well. It's just way too much hiking and I've read somewhere that this movie, as far as cannibal movies, is paced well. And I'm like, God, well, okay, that explains maybe why I'm not into cannibal movies, because the first hour and 15 minutes was just boring and drug on.
There were, like, around this time when you could, like, the animal shit in there's obviously.
I like Cannibal Holocaust is better than this movie.
You thought?
I think so.
Yeah. But
I'm still not a big fan.
Yeah. For the time frame, they throw this animal shit in just because, like, they're filming in the jungle, and they're filming with
It's just filler. It's
people from real tribes.
shock value.
Yes.
didn't even look
They're
real.
just-
It looks completely contrived. Like
Yeah, like they just
throw that
get.
falcon in there. Get it.
I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of times they'll film with real tribes.
And just like pictures
And
of
so-
orangutan and some other monkey.
Yeah.
Just a random picture of them just sitting there.
And I think too, it was back in a time when jungle was less known to normal people. You know, you didn't have Predator and all these big making.
Well, they do all seem to be.
So they almost. And that's the thing about cannibal movies that they always feel kind of documentary. It always feels like
yeah.
National Geographic, and then none of it. The stories always just drag.
That's what this did for me. I gave it a 3.
Yeah, and even in the payoffs, like the end scenes, they're just so ridiculous.
Expected more cannibal shit, less fucking.
And
pigs.
is it a white midget? Like he's in it a lot. Like he's got a couple scenes, but I believe it's a white guy midget in the middle of this of these cannibals. Like he's clearly not part of them because he's doing like
He's like, what are you guys doing over here?
hopping down on vines and like that. I don't know.
What'd you give it, Joe?
Yeah, I'm with Jason. I give it a 3. I wouldn't rate Cannibal Holocaust any higher though. I haven't. I remember watching a few of them, like
Soundtrack in that one is just really good.
16, 17 years old, or with the Faces of Death. Like I remember renting cannibal movies and Faces of Death early in, maybe even 15. Like early on, getting into horror, renting them at the VHS store because it just was like, oh, this is going to be the most.
That's so funny about it. You probably had to have your mom or dad like be like, he can rent movies here, and then they're like, you go rent that, and it's like, why would they even fucking have that?
Yeah, and it was like I remember watching. I don't even remember the names of them. I know Cannibal Holocaust was one. I think I've actually even watched this one before. But there were a few. None of them ever stood out in the Face of Death. I got out of it really early because I found out I didn't care for any of them.
The first movie I got in trouble for renting was Boys in the Hood. They came home and found it in the VCR and started watching it.
Oh no.
Very bad language.
I didn't get in trouble for renting movies.
It was bad.
They never. I got into CDs. Music was the first thing I got in trouble for, but that was 13, 14.
What'd you give us? You gave it a 5?
Yeah.
I gave it a 3 with you.
Yep.
That's
Me
Cannibal.
and Jared's right.
If you're into cannibal movies,
failed another one.
If you're into cannibal movies, I think this one's right there with, or like around with Cannibal Holocaust. Ish.
Well, yeah. From what I see, they all kind of look the same. They're all like within just a couple of years of each other. Like there was just a big.
Yeah. If that's your scene, and you haven't watched this one, it's probably pretty solid for one. It looks like you just got a group of people that don't care for them.
Yeah, if you're into cannibal movies, I'm pretty sure you've seen this one.
Yeah, I think it's one of the more popular ones.
Anyways, let's move into some nicer territory, I feel. The Fly from 1986. A brilliant but eccentric scientist begins to transform into a giant man-fly hybrid after one of his experiments goes horribly wrong. Directed by David Cronenberg, written by Charles Edward Pogue, who wrote Cull the Conqueror.
And starring
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff fucking Goldblum.
And Gina Davis, who evidently is a hot chick.
I was going to say, yeah. There's a couple of scenes where I'm like, Gina. Where was this in Beetlejuice?
Don't get me wrong. I don't think she's a hot chick, but they think she's a hot chick.
Oh, you don't think she's a hot chick?
No, I think she looks very much
Really?
like Gina Davis.
Yeah, but she has a dirty side.
Oh, she
to her
does.
in this.
She does.
I mean, they show her riding him at one point, right?
They do.
And he gets some side boob. Like that's not
true.
Gina you see every day.
You like that side boob?
That's true.
Gina's not showing off the side boob every day.
Gina's got a side boob going. Jeff Goldblum's hair is fucking magnificent. I would say it's even regal. It's so great.
Majestic.
He is magical. He's magical. I'm just sitting here watching this.
He's in love.
I'm like, this is one
He
of
loves
my,
Jeff
this
Goldblum.
dude is
Gina
one-
Davis is not an attractive woman.
No.
Like I understand
But
now.
Jeff Goldblum,
Oh, yeah.
motherfucker.
I will make that statement. You can quote me. You can make it a meme. You can make it a GIF. Jeff Goldblum is an attractive man. Gina Davis looks like Gina Davis. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. But I'm looking at it. I'm like, he is one of my favorite actors. I like everything that he's fucking does. He does a thing where he just I saw him just at a grocery store fucking with people. It was great.
You're stalking him.
Yeah. Well,
I seen him at the grogrocery store.
There's a YouTube.
I saw him in his bathroom one day.
Listen, I saw him through the window, but no, he
He had like a cooking with Jeff Goldblum skit and something. Where he'd go shopping. And then he'd go cook with somebody or something.
But he was just talking to people like the guy that works at produce that doesn't want to talk to him because he's Jeff Goldblum and he's got a camera. That's just not.
Who wouldn't want to talk to Jeff Goldblum in the produce section?
For some reason, I was thinking a Nick Cage, Jeff Goldblum, Gary Busey road trip movie would be a good idea. I wrote that down, Jared. I wrote it down.
Way to write it down.
Who hasn't taken a lady back to their secret laboratory to impress her with your telepods? That's pretty standard. If you have them.
Yeah,
If you got them, you got to show them. Why the fuck's he using expensive animals like baboons? Couldn't he use a cat or even anything else?
Or even anything?
He's just blowing up baboons, man. Like a nice little rat or something would be all right. I don't understand why he's slowly transforming because his fancy computer says that he fused with a fly at a genetic level. I would assume he'd come out the other side of this teleportation thing in his final form. Wouldn't that make a little more sense than just over time he becomes a...
It wouldn't make a good movie.
It might. He'd have a lot more time to fuck around.
He could just go be around and be a big fly.
Yeah, Cronenberg. Yeah, he's a genius. I gave this a 10 because it's a fucking flawless movie, in my opinion. But has anybody seen the sequel, Fly 2?
Yes, it's been a long time, but it's not as good.
It really interested me because it's like it's written by Mick Garris, and it's evidently
Is he still in it?
no Jeff.
Oh.
He gets her pregnant, and it's about his son, who is played by Eric Stoltz.
It's called Son of Fly, right?
The Fly 2 as well. I saw it. Maybe
Oh.
it is.
I thought it was called Son of Fly. Maybe not.
But yeah,
It's been a long time.
What'd you say, Jason?
Yes. Well, I have not seen Fly 2, and I also haven't seen the original. You guys seen the original Fly?
I don't think
Oh
so.
yeah, a long time. That's one I remember watching with mom.
Is
and
it
Dad.
good?
If you like old,
I do.
if you like old movies.
No, it's a good story. Great practical effects. The body horror is
Cronenberg.
great. It's what you expect. The acting is good. Goldblum's great. I like Gina.
I will go on record as saying I think Gina Davis back in the day was an attractive woman.
all right. Okay.
I always did.
What about Jeff Goldblum?
He's a good looking guy. And we're not denying that, but you just
I just shit on Gina Davis.
right.
I'm sorry.
leave her alone. The
Leave her the fuck alone, Frankie.
the dialogue is good. The characters are likable. Like it actually becomes it's you're kind of feeling for both of them. This was I've only seen this once before this, and I don't remember liking it that much the first time I watched it, but I gave it an 8.
That's pretty good.
What you doing?
Looking for something to say.
No, I was just seeing what year it was
Stealing
made.
your notes.
Because I never.
86, Jared.
Yeah,
It's 1 hour, 36 minutes
I
long.
was 5 when it came out. I never
distributed by 20th Century Fox.
Oh wait,
I've got a tagline. Something went wrong in the lab today. Very wrong. This is on Blu-ray in 2007, 20th Century Fox, and this is a movie that needs a proper release. It needs a collector's edition. It needs a ton of special features. It needs to do a transfer. This needs a good collector's edition release.
I was pretty happy when Frank picked it. This it's a movie. I guess I know it's because of the body horror. I never thought of this as a horror movie, Might be because I remember watching the old one with Dad, and the story's so 50s sci-fi that I always considered it sci-fi. But this is probably if you consider it a horror movie, this is probably the first horror movie of like not old timey 50s and Universal, but like 80s style or late 70s style and on. This is probably the first horror movie I ever remember watching. I remember the first time when I was a kid when I seen the arm wrestling scene and he busts that dude's wrist, and that was like one of the first horrific things I'd ever seen in a movie. I've never forgot that. That hit me hard. Because I was young. I think because we didn't we weren't always real strict, but up to like 14 it was. After 14 they didn't give a fuck what we watched or listened to, but up to 14 everything was real strict. And I think because it was Jeff Goldblum and a remake of the old one that we used to watch with Dad, I think they rented it. They rented it not realizing Cronenberg.
So do you remember what they thought about it?
No, I don't. I do remember them questioning if we could continue watching it in the middle of it. Like, this is too much.
It is. The effects are good.
Yeah, and I couldn't even tell you what age. 8, probably.
This may be my favorite Cronenberg.
Yeah. But probably 8. Might have been 8 when I watched this. And I still remember the sound. I remember the sound the wrist makes when it pops. That was my first.
I used to have a phobia. I don't know if you guys remember, but
bones.
When I would think about bones breaking.
I remember that.
Remember I went into a seizure out there in that shed because someone was talking about bones.
Well, let's not do it again.
No, I'm over it. It don't bother me. But
yeah, that scene was one of the first that stuck in my head.
Into a seizure.
One of the first scenes I remember as a kid watching and like being shocked when it happened. It was just like, oh my God. And I really I always loved Jeff Goldblum, and he's great. Always loved David Cronenberg. I think Gina Davis is a very attractive lady back in the 80s and 90s. And she's really, I always thought she was a good actress. She's good in it. I give it a 9. I always like this.
Boom, that's a proof.
Cronenberg body horror on 50s pulp sci-fi. Like, it's
good. It needs a good, proper official release.
Yeah. On to our last film. Everybody ready for some Shadowbuilder by Bram Stoker?
we doing? Were we 4 already?
Yeah, this is the last one.
What'd you do? Creepozoid, Fly? Oh yeah, Mountain of the Cannibal, whatever.
Mountain of the Cannibal, whatever.
Forget that movie is ever me.
Montagne.
Last movie.
Summary: an evil archbishop of the Catholic Church summons a demon to try to destroy the world. The summoners are killed, but the demon escapes to hunt down its needed victim. The victim soon turns out to be a child that has the potential to become a saint. After ravaging the town and turning its citizens upon themselves, the demon soon locates and captures its prey. Directed by Jamie Dixon, mostly known for his extensive work in visual effects, and written by Michael Stokes, mostly known for kids' television, based on a short story by Bram Stoker. This movie's so gothic, I painted my fingernails without even fucking real.
I got a tagline. When God created light, the first shadow was born. Ooh. Distributed by Sterling Home Entertainment. And this Blu-ray release I have as well. This is from they're called MVD Rewind Collections. It's the same people that did the Abominable Blu-ray. And I gotta give a shout out to them because they're great releases. They do like faux artwork, like making it look like old VHS.
And it says do not leave this cassette in the
right.
car.
It's got the horror stickers. They have great artwork, and they all come with a poster. They all have reversible artwork. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo loaded with special features. So I think they do all kinds of movies though, but I think the 2 horror movies they have is Abominable and Bram Stoker. And right away, I think if you like one, you're gonna like the other. I think these go well together. They both have almost like the same feeling to them. like a really good sci-fi movies.
This movie, maybe this sounds weird, but it seemed like it was in the same town as Don't Kill It. Like it seemed like it was in that same world almost. Like I kept waiting, oh, here he comes. Fucking what's his name? What's that dude's name?
Dolph.
Yeah, Dolph. Anyways, Michael Rooker's in this movie, and he is a badass. He's a priest, and he's got guns, and can't go wrong with
Hand
that.
cannons.
He's kind of like the first, what do they call them? Boondock Saints.
Tony Todd's in it too.
Yeah, his character's fun, huh? Just a crazy guy that has a wig. It's a bad wig. But he collects all the lights in town for some reason.
The waste of Tony Todd, in my opinion.
Yes.
But I'd like you guys to just try, if you could, to describe what this demon is in your best, as best you can.
Shadow.
It's just a shadow. It can turn into bugs.
A shadow demon.
But it turns into bugs at some point.
Sometimes. Creatures of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it's a demon.
I did like it a lot. Like the way they did this, the style that they made this demon. I've never seen anything like that before. It kind of reminded me of Ralph Bakshi's the way he animates stuff in like Lord of the Rings, or you know what I'm talking about, or he like animates over an actual person.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. So I like that a lot. The thing that took me out of it a little bit was the female character, the mom of this boy, because if I'm not a religious person, but if I had a baby and my wife was like, wanting to get it baptized, and we went to get it baptized.
Gets wounds of the stigmata.
And yeah, as soon as you dip it in the water, then the stigmata wounds come. I'd be like, oh, well, Jesus is real then. We're going to church all the time, right? That's all it would take. You do that. You don't go,
That's all.
We're not really a religious people. No, you very much are, ma'am. Did you not see that? Let me see what else I got here. I don't know if I have much else. The ending was really entertaining. I thought it would have been just I don't know if it would have been too much if the boy would have brought Michael Rooker's character back to life, but I wanted it to happen. I was wanting him to come back. Watching this makes me want to read the Bram. I don't read shit, but it makes me want to read what Bram Stoker's original story was, because he died in fucking 1912. So they didn't have light, like electricity and stuff, and also it had to be completely different, right? Like,
no, I think Bram Stoker's original one was about a priest in the 90s with guns.
yeah, you're probably right.
I think
No,
it's
but
this
like
exact.
I'm interested to see what the differences are, because clearly it wasn't.
But probably almost everything other than a shadow demon, maybe a boy.
I thought that's what he was
Possibly
going. I thought that's
priest.
what he was going to be talking about, because they didn't have electricity. The way their shadows looked from all the candles, I thought he was going deep into it.
Oh
but he
no!
didn't.
I mean anything.
He
It
didn't
just
go.
I want to see what the differences are. I gave it
gotcha.
an 8 out of 10. Though I enjoyed this movie a lot.
This was the first time I've seen this movie. Bought this on Blind Buy just by the trailer. The CG in it looks a little dated. Again, I'm just now watching this for the first time, so I'm guessing in 1998 it looks pretty good. It didn't look too bad, because some of the stuff, while you can see it's dated, it still looks pretty good. And I guess this guy, I don't know if it's Jamie Dixon. I think a lot of what he does is special
Visual
effects. So you can see, I think he made the most of what he had to work with.
Yeah,
back
the
then
end there's
on
like
that.
fire and fucking.
Some of it don't
crazy
look that
shit.
good, but some of them I thought looked all right. There's some really good scenes in this. Probably my favorite one's the coroner scene or whatever. That's a long movie. It's a 2 hours runtime, but I was okay with it. Never got bored. I never was watching the clock, wait for it to end. Good story, okay acting. The CG's forgivable because of the year and the budget. It's a low budget direct-to-video movie that came out in a time where horror was kind of
Fallen.
yeah. But now, seeing it, I think it's an underrated movie. I'm surprised I didn't hear a lot of people talking about this movie more than what I
would have thought,
heard.
because when did Dracula come out? Bram Stoker's Dracula. You would have thought that it would have popped off of that popularity, because that was a pretty big deal.
Was it? That's 90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I gave it a 7.
I did not give it that high of one. It's one of those weird movies where I feel like if I would have watched it in '98, I would have been like, "Oh, that's a really cool movie," and everything was just flat. It's not awful. I gave it a 5. It's not the worst. Michael Rooker is better in most things that he's in, if not all, than he is in this. Tony Todd, it's a waste of Tony Todd.
Yeah, that character, what is he, like a Jamaican guy with long dreadlocks?
I think everything there had the potential, but
I could have made him a creepy guy.
Here's my problem with it.
That wants to keep his house lit up.
His whole thing is lights. He has this shitty ramshackle shed that he has lights all around.
He steals everyone's lights.
Hire him to come help them. He's hooking up lights. Who the fuck can't do that? Get a couple halogens in there, man. I bet your neighbor's got some fucking floodlights you can borrow. Just do that, man. Don't bring the weirdo in. Oh, whatever.
It's a cool story that I don't think any of the really cool stuff you could do with it was really what's there. I don't think was executed the best.
In all honesty, like I like this movie, but this wouldn't be a bad one for a remake. I think it's it could be done a lot better. They could do a lot of cool stuff with it. But
I definitely agree with it. The effects being dated and just watching it now make it the monster wasn't quite as cool. It was a little shimmery. I don't know. Nothing was offensive, but everything fell flat for me. So I guess so. I gave it a 5. It's not the worst, but if you watched it in the 90s, and I could see watching it when I was 16, 17, however old I was. 98, so I'd have been 17. I could see watching it then and being like, "Oh, I really like this movie."
I wish I would have, because I bet it looked really good in '98.
It does seem like something you run across on like TNT, you know.
But it came out. It came out in a period where there wasn't a lot of good stuff out there. So I would have thought that this would have been more popular than what it. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe we just didn't. In our circle, we didn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
It seems to have a decent following, and I understand now why.
Yeah, I looked up after I watched it. I looked up some reviews of some other people, and was really, for me, I was really surprised to see people talking about how much they liked it.
I've seen a lot of people pick it up. A lot of people bought this Blu-ray release.
All right, well, that's the show, guys. Jared, what are you reading, man? What's going on in your room?
Right now, I brought it with me since I was out here earlier. I am reading Phantasmagoria Blues by Mer Winery.
Thought he was going to pull out Ray's book.
No.
I was pumped up.
No. Since this isn't coming out for a while, since we have, we're recording it now, and this one's going to air in 4 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Christmas.
By now, I'm very excitedly waiting Jonathan Rabb's new book.
Camp Ghoul.
Yeah, Camp Ghoul Massacre 6, the novelization. That should be out by the time I'm talking right now.
I thought it was supposed to be out in September.
No, it's supposed to be out in October, but last I talked to him, he's doing some last-minute edits, and they did like a bunch of different kind of art because it's a book, it's a novelization about a movie, but the movie it's not a real movie, but they're pretending like it's a real movie. And so they did a bunch of art to go like with the realistic theme. And there's also, from my understanding, is weaving in of the odd things that happened to Rab while writing the novelization. So there's a mythos about the movie, there's the story about the movie, and then there's Rab's involvement in being and Benjamin Hosapple, who does Turn to Ash in Columbus, that press. about their weird involvements in being.
This is why I don't
hired
read. It's too much.
to write it. So
Too much stuff going on.
So there's a lot of concept going on in it, and it's high concept haunted slasher movie. So I'm really excited for that. I'm sure by now it's out, and I'm reading it, and I'm betting it's fantastic.
I'm really excited to hear you talk about it.
Yeah.
I want to know the story, but not have to read it.
So if you're watching this now, Jonathan Rab's Camp Ghoul Massacre 6, the novelization.
Get it now.
I don't even know if that's the whole
Pre-order.
title.
Get it now.
But
Hot topic.
Pre-order
it should be
you
there.
get $2 off.
I'm
And
sure
her
you can get it on Amazon, and I'm sure you can get it
LRHS.
off the Muzzleland Press's Store Envy page. So,
He's dropping codes over here. Anyways.
put in some kind of LRHS promo code, and I'm sure you'll get no money off.
no money.
But you'll get the book if you pay full price.
Yeah, and if you buy the DVD, there's an Easter egg.
What DVD? Are we making DVDs yet?
I was just making a thing.
Have we done DVDs of Last Roundup Horror Show podcast?
No, I've got a spindle of DVDs like that.
Oh, we should make DVDs.
All right.
Would you guys buy DVDs
Yeah,
of this stuff you can stream on YouTube for free?
but you aren't.
What if we make art to go with it? Like craftsy stuff.
Yeah.
If we make craftsy homemade DVDs.
Let's say, here we go. LP record. One episode.
on vinyl?
Yeah.
You paying for
You
that?
paying for that shit?
No, somebody's gonna sign us. Let's get
A record deal?
Well,
Get a GoFundMe.
Let's figure out how the fuck. What's that dude from Bob's Burgers? The
Bob?
the son Eugene. Eugene Merman. Did you see how he packaged his last album?
No.
As a chair that had it had headphones you could plug into it, or a robe, or it was like 100 record set. It was ridiculous packaging.
Mm.
Yeah,
I was thinking notebook paper and crayons.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Staple them.
Blank tape. TDK 90.
There we go.
Oh, the TD. Can you even buy them anymore? Do you guys know? Can you buy blank tapes?
There's some
anymore?
new old stock out there.
VCRs are very they're very much going up in price though. I saw that. You want a good solid VCR.
We were talking cassette tapes.
I don't know where I'm at, man.
Oh, we can record video too.
Yeah, fuck, we got video.
Kodak.
VHS cassette. Last Roundup Horror Show. It's coming.
Here it comes.
Hand numbered.
You'll find them in the horror section of your local Blockbuster.
Here's what we do.
Limited to 10.
Put it on VHS, and then we have Kevin Buckley transfer into beta, and then we have beta.
I'm game.
Next time, guys. Next time.
Beta next time.
Digital Bear.